I don't know if I'm gonna be able to answer you. Oh my gosh. Did you not find it hot?
Oh, it's hot.
Oh.
Hey Nelson family, from Last We Fast, I'm not Sean Evans, and this is Not Ones. It's not Hot Ones. It's a show with hot questions and even hotter wings. And today we have Shannon Nelson, your mom. Shannon graduated from Syracuse University in 1989 with a BA in retail marketing and subsequently worked for G. Fox & Co. in Hartford, Connecticut. G. Fox was once the largest privately held department store in the nation, and Shannon exploded out of the gate with helping with purchasing, store layouts, communication, promotions, and even some marketing and advertising. She retired from a retail career in January of 1992 and spent almost 3 decades focusing on raising 5 children, weathering the changing cultural expectations from the late 1990s to the early 2000s. Today she's a music teacher who teaches in the greater South Bend area with regular recitals. So, to begin, how are you with hot food?
I mean, I can eat a decent amount of hot food, but I'm sure I have a limit. So I kind of feel like at the dentist, like, you know, when you're anticipating that, I just want it to be over. So let's go for it.
That's right. Cheers.
Cheers. That's already pretty spicy, I'm worried.
All your children are some variety of internet content creator, whether it's Matt and G posting art, Abby and Zach posting lifestyle videos on TikTok, or Tyler's memes. When you watch your children use the internet, whose content do you understand the least?
Wow. It would either be Tyler or Abby. The TikTok.
You want some?
No, thank you.
I think it's references to cultural things that I don't understand yet, right? That I don't know about. What is this one now?
The Italian layer. I think this is garlic.
Okay.
It's great.
Not too hot though.
Not too hot. You have always found yourself in close proximity to hitchhikers. Your dad used to hitchhike. Your boyfriend Peter used to hitchhike from Poughkeepsie to Hyde Park.
How'd you know that? Oh my goodness.
And even your son Tyler was known to thumb it for a few stretches on his journey from northern Indiana to Florida. What draws you to be around and encourage people with that spirit of adventure?
I have caught a lot of flack about this from my sisters and family over the years too. I think I'm just very open to differences and not conventional. Like, even though I'm a very traditional, conventional person, I'm actually very open to things that are not like in a box, following the rules of society, if I view it as beneficial, if it's right.
Do you feel like those people are drawn to you or you're drawn to them?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think relationships just kind of have a two-way street, right?
So have you hitchhiked or would you ever
No.
hitchhike? So why do you choose?
No, I'm not a risk taker.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that. My family knows that. But I don't judge people for doing things a little unconventionally. I actually like that, yeah. It's kind of spicy, but...
You've been a big fan of classic comedies going all the way back from the 70s. Whether it was Will Ferrell on SNL or Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas, you've always had an appreciation for the media filled with laughter and wacky jokes. How have you seen your kids inherit that sense of humor?
Oh yeah, they're funnier than I am though. They're way funnier.
Do you feel like that's because you instilled it with them and your choices of media or your choice of humor yourself?
I think they have a better sense of humor. I'm not witty, right? But I appreciate good wit. I mean, when it comes to my kids and their gifts, I believe it was just a matter of letting them blossom into who they are. It wasn't that I exhibited it or did anything to create that.
So in the nature-nurture argument.
Yeah. Well, maybe they're naturally witty. They are smart. They're all smart. And I think it's not that I'm not intelligent, but their dad's really smart too, so they get a lot of that. And then I think that I just allow the space. And that is my parenting philosophy, intentionally and also naturally with people, just like allow the space for people to be who they are, and then that will naturally come forth and blossom, right?
So in humor, did you end up like giving them a lot of options, showing them a lot of different types of humor? Or how do you share that at a young age to kind of create the sense of that's funny and that's not? Or this is funny and this is funny and this is funny and these are all different things?
That's a great question because I will say like in the last few years I've felt like I haven't been very funny or very fun to be around, and I've questioned like who am I in that regard. But I think that there's a natural flow. I just find little quirky things funny. I find things that people say to be funny. Like, you know, with your children, you know, with your boys, I'm sure they do little things and you think it's hilarious.
Right,
Yeah, and when you laugh at them, that encourages them
to feel comfortable.
I think so.
So we're going to take a break from questions and we're going to play a segment I like to call Explain the Gram. So I'm going to show you a picture and you're going to explain to me the context of this picture, what's happening, what's going on.
Okay.
And you're going to be rapid fire. There's going to be a handful of these things and I just need you to say what's happening, explain this picture.
Okay, I'm in London walking to class and someone took a picture. That's Russia, St. Petersburg. That is my high school boyfriend, Chris Kennedy, and that was the senior prom. We met at a foreign exchange dinner where there were foreign exchange students, and so I was like really into Europe at the time, and he was like, he just was really handsome and dressed, and he had an earring. Oh, that was my roommate, my freshman roommate in college, June, and so we threw a black-white party, and we dressed up, and like we used to have so much fun together, she and I. She's really cool.
Do you keep in touch?
Yeah, actually, I see her every summer. We do like a college reunion.
All right, how about this one?
That is Tyler. Let's see, yeah, that was a great birth experience. I don't know if you guys know the story. So when they would do the, starting with him and then with Abby as well, the epidural, I don't know why, but my blood pressure would always drop really low, and it's a really weird feeling.
Thanks, yeah.
I don't know why it would do that. And then I would tell the anesthesiologist, they give me something to feel better, but you feel like you're gonna like leave your body. It's really weird. Yeah. Matt's was the hardest because it was like a long labor, and then he was sick and all that stuff, right? That was really traumatizing. Not traumatizing, but you know, I couldn't even wake up just because I'd been laboring for like 48 hours or something crazy like that. And then they showed him to me, they're like, here he is, and they left. Rob came in and said, they just called me and said I have to come in. And while we were sitting there, we hear two people outside the door go, he just died 10 minutes ago. And we look at each other. It was probably 10 seconds or 2 seconds, and we're like, our son is dead. And then we realized they were talking to a doctor. So that was like scary.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was crazy. And but then he came through it. Okay, so that was a visit in South Carolina. So loved all my memories, every memory of going down to visit my sister every summer, drive all the way down. That's June again, so my roommate from college, and my dad took us to New York City on Christmas break. He took us to New York, and she had never been to New York. She was from like the mountains of New York, like rural New York.
And had you been in New York before that?
Yeah, many times. My parents would take us twice a year. It's gotten much more interesting than it was then. It's really like, you look like you're in a sci-fi movie now, yeah. Okay, so that's in England. I don't know where, but somewhere in England on a trip I took with my sister Kiev and my parents. Everybody was old. There were only two other kids on the trip that were two boys, and they were all old people, and they were really cranky, and they would rush us from place to place. My parents hated it, but they hated that part of it. But I thought it was a good experience.
Have you taken any other like trips abroad with your family or your kids?
No, no, I would like to though. Oh, that one's hot. Don't you agree? That's tasty though.
When you were young, you had a piano teacher named Mrs. Steffen, who was tough and mean.
How'd you guys do all this stuff? Okay.
After what seemed like an eternity of torment, you convinced your parents to send you to Mrs. Taylor, who was a local neighborhood teacher who was much kinder and whose husband made you snacks. Compare and contrast those teacher experiences and tell me how they contribute to your experience as a music teacher today.
Wow, that's a great question. Okay, so Mrs. Steffen was stern and also kind of weird. I don't know. She was a little, like she wasn't cool and she was strict, but she wasn't old. I think that she was very intentional in creating good musicians. She had a theory class we were required to go to once a week, and we would sit in her basement on these fold-out chairs, and I was like one of the younger kids too. And you were forced to sit to her, listen to her for an hour, talk about, and you were like, what? But I think that I respect that as an educator in a way. And then let's see, Mrs. Taylor didn't do anything. She would just let you play. So I will say that my teaching is mostly influenced by my desire for the children to have a good experience, and also that they become people who love music. And if they have a talent where they're really showing promise, then I really make sure that I push them a little bit. I will say my lips are burning a little bit.
Yeah, I can feel that.
Okay, that one's hot.
The summer before your senior year, you went on a trip to London. I know that your tour bus was primarily older people, and the only teenagers around you were your sister Keeve, and then Ira and Louis Wexler. What was that like?
Yeah, like I explained. Okay, that was really hot. I'm sorry. Give me a second. Did you not find it hot?
Oh, it's hot. This one's real hot.
Okay.
It's a very steep cliff from 1 through 8, and then going to 9.
You're doing better than I am. I think I put a little too much on my thing. Oh.
So the trip to London, the bus, you told me a little bit in the picture that there was all these older people, and then there's you and your sister, Ira and Louis Wexler. What was that like?
I don't know if I'm going to be able to answer you. Oh my gosh. Can you give me like a piece of bread or something?
Yeah, you want bread? You want ice cream? I got ice cream.
It was boring at times, but interesting because I like Europe. Ooh. That helps a little.
Very. So do you like, I mean, when the situation was just all these old people and then kids, how did you make it fun or make it enjoyable?
Kieve's fun. I mean, we always had fun together. We were very imaginative. I can't feel my lips.
It also depends on where you bite and where you put it in.
I don't know what I did. Well, I mean, I dipped a lot of it in there because I've been doing great. I'm like, I got this. Oh my God. Like, this is a mean story about my parents, but we had jet lag and they left us in a park. I don't know if Keeve told Zach this story. I don't know what they did. They left us in a park and we fell asleep. And they were really mad at us when it got back. And we're like, well, we couldn't help ourselves. I'm trying to think what else to tell you. My dad made us try haggis, which was disgusting. Haggis. It's made of like intestines and stuff.
Yeah, is it filled with something? Is it like a stuffed chicken?
I think it's like an intestine stuffed with stuff. It's really gross.
Oh, my nose.
I'm feeling a little better, but I don't think I'm ready for the last one yet.
All right, we'll take a break.
I don't want to dab any.
Just eat it. Yeah, it's got enough on it. We'll just do it as it is.
You got enough out of it. You tortured me enough. All right, we'll do the last one.
Yep.
Okay, I'll top two.
All right, so here we are. 10 wings up, 10 wings down, the summit of Mount Spicy. You are known for being a spiritual person and being concerned with the idea of a higher power. In your time grappling with your spirituality, you have wondered about a being that's traditionally a godly figure, karma, or the universe exerting some sort of supernatural will on us. If you think there is a God, what characteristics do you find reflected in yourself?
Like what am I like that I picture God is?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, what I would hope God would be.
Sure. And you can either get what you hope God would be or what you hope you would be. So
yes, okay, I like that.
What's that reflection?
Okay, so I'm not
that
always these things, but
of course, and we all are. But what's that reflection that's important?
Yeah, loving, patient, understanding, caring, involved, connected. I'd say maybe in earlier years I was a little bit more wrapped up in dogma, so I had more an idea of how I thought things should be than now. But still, I think as the wider spectrum of Christians, I think it's easier for me than many.
Sure.
I don't know. To me, it's just about not wanting to. It's about wanting the best for other people,
Sure.
and just wanting them to find their own journey. I don't know if that answers a question. Yeah. I think that was a little foggy and vague, but.
Spicy. All right, so that's it.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was fun.
So now we're gonna roll out the
Who
red
doesn't like
carpet.
to talk about
I know.
themselves? Okay.
We'll roll out the red carpet. There's camera there, and you can tell everybody what you're working on.
Right now, I'm just trying to finish getting my new place figured out because it's hard moving into a new space and I feel a little crammed in there, so I'm trying to figure out how to organize myself. I'm going to be doing a recital in December, but I'm still trying to find a good venue for that, so hopefully that'll be wrapped up this week. And I'm also thinking about maybe putting together a ukulele choir. That's been in the works on my mind for a while.
Anything you want to tell your family last minute? You get the chance here. It's your floor.
Oh, wow, this was fun, and I hope it's not boring for you guys. And I just want to say you've been the greatest. It's been a pleasure to be your parent, to be your mother, and to raise all of you. I've enjoyed every second of it, even when I've been cranky and imperfect or anxious or whatever. It's been a blessing to be your mom.
Cool. Yeah, thanks. Which one was your favorite?
Not that one.